Let's hope to the gods that YouTube is working okay. Let's have a look here. We'll hop onto the main channel. There's your stream loading up. It's on now. Check the audio. Audio is working as it should. That is absolutely fantastic. At least that's going smoothly. The telemetry up, lap data up, track map up. We're all set and ready to go. That is absolutely fantastic. Well, hello everyone and welcome to round 5 of the Pacific Elite Series here on Race Spec Esports. I'm Everingham, your lead commentator for this event, and tonight we'll be racing at the Hungaroring for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Constructed in 1986 and located near the capital city of Budapest, this 4.38 kilometre 14-turn circuit has earned a permanent spot on the Formula One calendar since its creation. Amongst Formula One fans, the track is more commonly known as being Monaco without the walls, and it's easy to understand why. The circuit is certainly one of the trickiest and most difficult to pass racetracks in the world, with overtaking opportunities limited to the 2 DRS zones that lead into Turn 1 and Turn 2. Outside of these areas, the drivers will have to deal with some of the nastiest corners on the calendar. The high-speed left-hander of Turn 4 and the high-speed right-hander of Turn 11 are two areas that have famously become accident hotspots on the circuit. The inside curves at Turn 2 and Turn 5 also have a reputation of creating chaos during both qualifying and in the race. Now, before we focus on this here qualifying session, there is a bit of news to go through first. From last week's race in Mexico, there were 2 incident reports that I've picked up on, one of which involving GeForce Pato and ACW, the result of which was a penalty point handed out to ACW, but no time penalty given. There was also an incident between Spicy and Riley where on the safety car restart, Riley passed Spicy before the control line, and according to our rules, you're not allowed to pass before the control line, so Riley was given a 5-second time penalty and 1 penalty point. With this penalty, Riley would move from P7 to P8 in the final results. In the Drivers' Championship, Ferrari Pro was leading on 96 points, 4 points ahead of Smithy in the Aston Martin on 92, and ACW in P3 also on 92 points. So the top 4 separated by only 4 points. And Plebs isn't too far behind on 78. He's 18 points behind the championship leader. P5 is GeForce Pato on 69, followed by Roscoe Arm on 39. Same with Bags Liddell in P7, also on 39 points. Then we have Spicy on 35, Riley on 33, and Pump 46 in the Williams rounds out the top 10 on 30 points. In the Constructors, Ferrari are leading on 188, followed by Alpine on 147. So quite a commanding lead for Ferrari, which is expected when you have Ferrari Pro and ACW piloting your cars. Aston Martin are next on 131. Then it's a massive jump down to McLaren, who are on 55 points. Yeah, it's a hell of a jump down. That is 76 points, I believe, the gap between Aston Martin and McLaren. It's huge. Then we have Alfa Romeo on 51, Mercedes on 41, Williams on 39, AlphaTauri on 21, Haas on 20, and at the bottom of the table is Red Bull Racing on 18 points. But that's pretty much it in terms of news. We can now focus on this qualifying session, and I can introduce my co-commentator for tonight, who was once again KD 1997. KD was a hell of a delayed start. We're 20 minutes late, but we finally got it running. Only a small field, though, of 13 cars, which is less than great. But what are your general thoughts about this Hungaroring circuit?
Well, I mean, it was quite a long way out, wasn't it? 20 minutes. Quite a while. Kind of like Monaco last night. Anyway, though, with this track, Hungary tends to be in, well, my personal, quick tracks, I would say. I tend to like a track that's more quick and requires high downforce. But I know the track can be quite tricky, as you mentioned in your intro. You're limited to fucking. I'm sorry. Bleep that out. Yeah, bleep that out. But anyway, yeah, you got 2 DRS zones that will help you with the only overtaking spots of 1 and 2. But of course, turn 5 of which I find is still the nastiest corner of the racetrack because of that inside curve. If you touch it, your car is just going to spin no matter what. And then, of course, like turn 11, the inside curve, for whatever reason, is really tricky, because if you touch it, your car is just going to spin no matter what as well. Pretty much like the same story as turn 5. But other than that, though, I kind of find it more as my personal favorite track. Although not a great track, I will say, in terms of real life. I know it's not really the most ideal racetrack in the world, but that's just personal preference.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I can say with confidence, from the experiences I've had around here, it can be an interesting racetrack. One of the most astonishing races I've ever seen came from this very circuit, where it was dry at the beginning, rain through the middle, then it dried up towards the end, and it created an incredible amount of drama and chaos that it was almost impossible to keep up. You know, drivers had to really roll the dice when it came with strategy, and they had to adapt fast, because if they didn't, well, they would be caught out so easily. And I think it was back in F1 21, maybe F1 2020, when this happened. So you did have to be on your toes when the conditions started to change. So yeah, this track can certainly toss up an interesting race or two, but for sure, in real life, it's not one of the better racetracks that we go to, as Smithy jumps up to pole position with a 15.9. Of course, in real-life Formula 1, it's created its own history. It's been the location of where drivers got their first victories, namely Jenson Button and, of course, Esteban Ocon quite recently. But outside of those moments, yeah, it's created a bit here and there, but it's never been the most astonishing racetrack. So, but,
yeah, of course.
what we're probably going to see that is going to be more exciting is hopefully a tight qualifying. And at the moment, the top 4 is pretty tight, 10th and a half separating said top 4. So, yeah, no, it's looking quite good at the moment. Actually, it's not a 10th and a half, is it? It's over 2 tenths. So, but still tight.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, there's another thing too as well. Tire strategy could be another factor as well, because I know in this track the tires can heat up quite a bit, especially that since these tires do run obviously no assist at all. The front will probably heat up more likely with no ABS, so that's going to be crucial, I think, is the tire temperatures, because as we know, as we've seen in previous times in Hungary, it is very easy to get those tires quite hot. If you have them too hot, obviously your car is definitely not going to be very happy, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, pretty much is that's what they'll need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, no, tyre temperatures have become a major sort of topic when it comes to this particular game. It's incredibly important that you keep your tyres within an optimal temperature range, because as soon as they fall outside of that range, they're next to useless, those tyres. You're almost better off driving on concrete tyres than rubber ones, so you need to keep them nice and sort of optimised, because if they're not, yeah, you're totally screwed. And around this circuit, I have heard from a few different drivers, as Davis does in 18 flat, that, yeah, tyre temperatures will be a bit of an issue. Not so much here in qualifying, because all you have to do is one run and then park the car back in the garage, wait for a bit and then go out again. But in the race, yeah, I imagine the soft tyre would be next to useless around here because of how quickly it heats up.
From what I've also experienced, I've done a 100% race, I remember not too long ago on Wednesday. The soft tire isn't too bad actually, but yeah, it does wear quicker. Obviously wears quicker from what I've understood. But I mean, I did start on that tire, I started on the mediums. I think I tried to do a 2-stop strategy, but yeah, no, it's not that bad. But like, it does provide really good pace. But yeah, it just burns up way too fast.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like previous games, isn't it, where the soft tyre used to burn up incredibly quickly. It often promoted some interesting strategies, because back in the day, you had to start on the tyre you qualified on. So we would see drivers, as Bags Liddell jumps to the top, 15.859. But yeah, in the past, we'll see drivers qualify towards the front on the soft compound tyre, and they had to go about 5-6 laps before they could put on a set of hards and try and go to the end. So you saw in qualifying a lot of drivers tried to do a lap on the mediums or qualify outside the 10 so you could start on whatever you wanted. Now as ACW jumps to the top, we're going to ride on board with Smithy here. Going to give you a guided tour of this 4.38 kilometre racetrack. Down towards turn 1, entry speed of just over 300 kilometres an hour, down to 4th gear at the apex of the first turn. Opens DRS again, heading towards the left-hander of turn 2. Braking at the 50 board from 7th gear, down to 4th gear, keeping it in 4th, modulating the throttle nicely down the hill. 5th gear, 6th gear, round turn 3, and climbing up the small hill towards the notorious turn 4. Very tricky corner to get it absolutely spot on. Smithy pretty tidy through there. Around turn 5, as KD mentioned, that inside curve is nasty, and you can see from Smithy, he'd avoided it like the plague. Around turn 6 and turn 7, the chicane on the racetrack, up towards the left-hander of turn 8, and to the right of turn 9. Now up towards turn 10, absolutely flat out here, but be careful, we got turn 11, very tricky corner, probably the trickiest of the S section, very difficult to get right. Into turn 12, 4th gear, back on the accelerator gently, tidy on the exit. Around turn 13, be careful of that little dip. It can drag the car away from the apex, but you can see there from Smithy, he got around the corner well. Around the final corner, turn 14, and back onto main straightaway, DRS open, crossing the line and taking pole position by 0.02 of a second, a 15.755.
Jeez, that's close. And then while you were watching the lap, saw that Ferrari Pro also spun at turn 5. He also had a collision there with Spicy. Thankfully, nothing happened as well. Well, yeah, it was he. I think it was he took too much of that inside curve, as we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you don't want to be doing that. The curbs here can be very, very nasty. You have to pick and choose your curbs around this circuit. You just can't hog all of them. If you do that, you'll definitely spin out. Now, Vision here on a flying lap heading down towards turn 1. Peak speed we saw from Smithy was 303 or so miles an hour, and Vision hit just about the same. Did I say miles? Yeah, if they were doing 303 miles an hour, that would be quite impressive, wouldn't it?
That's like literally drag racing pace.
Through turn 2 and down towards turn 3. Yeah, I'm getting my Murrayisms in check already. Making sure I get them out of the way early. As Vision is up by 1/10 of a second. He ran awfully wide though at turn 4. Fortunately though, it didn't invalidate the lap. Tidy run out of 5 and into the chicane of 6 and 7 third gear. Eventually reaching full throttle just as soon as he hit the outside curb. Sharp turn in there into 8 through 9. Getting plenty of rotation in that AlphaTauri. Out of 10 into 11. Down to 5th gear. Back on the accelerator. Tidy exit out. He's up by almost a 1/10. Into the final sector. Only 3 corners here. Turn 12. Down towards turn 13 now. Bringing it back down to 4th gear. Back on the accelerator. Nice and tidy on the exit again. No oversteer. No wheel spin either. So this is a pretty solid lap so far. Can he improve? DRS open up towards the line. It's a 17.2. He doesn't improve position, but he found 0.3 of a second. So he'll take that, I'm sure. Now,
better than nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
Better than nothing.
That's absolutely right. And I think for a few of these guys, it'll just be about a game of survival. I mean, there's only 13 competitors tonight, which I mentioned earlier is quite disappointing. But what it means is that anybody who finishes will score something. So finish. Try and finish. That's got to be your main goal. And so long as you achieve that, you'll get some sort of reward. For those towards the front, of course, it's a bit more competitive because, of course, there's a championship. There's a championship fight going on towards the front between the likes of Smithy, the 2 Ferraris, and Plevs, who's currently a bit stuck down in P8. He's a fair chunk behind his rivals in terms of lap time, so he'll be looking to try and make up right at the end of the session. Meanwhile, Roscoe Arm here is coming towards the end of a flying lap, and around the final corner back onto the main straightaway. Towards the line, he'll set a 16.6. He's the 3rd driver that entered the Sixers. Gers is in the Sixers, and so is Plevs. So These three are pretty tightly bunched together when it comes to pace. Ooh, hello AlphaTauri. What are you up to? That must be Davis off the circuit.
Yeah, I think. Yep. Well, he's just doing a bit of lawn mowing.
Yeah, helping the Hungarian groundskeepers out, keeping the lawn nice and trim. So now,
and meanwhile, getting that car dirty.
Well, oh yeah, that AlphaTauri can get dirty. I know that of experience. That AlphaTauri can get real filthy real quick. Especially if you're racing at Zandvoort. It's particularly noticeable there. Gers moves off the side. What he's trying to do is spend some extra fuel. He wants to try and reduce the fuel down as much as he can for his final run. So he's basically what he's doing is a preparation lap. Getting ready for the very, very final minutes of qualifying. Now Smithy here, he's not waiting around. Our current pole sitter is on a flying lap, making his way out of turn 3, up the hill towards turn 4. Sector 1 says he's up by 1/10 of a second. That's a lot of time to find in 3 corners. He's found a 10th in 3 turns. That's a pretty solid effort. Can he find any time here in the middle sector? Through 6 and 7, that looked okay. That looked pretty tidy. And he's backed off, I think.
I think he's backed up. Yeah. I saw him run wide at turn 4. I'm surprised it didn't invalidate his lap. Because normally when that happens, well, I know from my experience, it always invalidates my lap.
Now he has to be a tad bit careful because he doesn't have a great deal of battery left. He probably should have enough for one more run. With the time left on the clock, I don't think he can do a prep lap. Oh, yeah. So this is it. This will be his final run when he makes his way around the final corner. ACW getting ready. Ferrari Pro heading down towards turn 1. Entry speed 303 kilometers per hour around turn 1. Exiting in 4th gear. Climbing up through the gearbox, heading down the hill into turn 2. Bringing it down to 4th gears. Roscoe retires in the pit lane. He'll settle with a 16.6. Out of turn 3 goes Ferrari Pro. Heading up the hill towards the first sector split. He's up. He's up by a fair chunk as well. 1 3/4 tenths of a second as he heads around turn 5. Tidy on the exit there, avoiding the inside curb as he heads through the chicane of turn 6 and 7. Clobbering over curb cam there. Poor little curb cam. Got smashed there by the Ferrari. Through turn 9 through turn 10 into 11. Middle sector says, oh, he's wide. Doesn't invalidate though. And he's up still by 2.5 tenths of a second. He's found more time. He's looking at a high 15. Well, tidy out of turn 13.
Kind of lagging on my end though.
Was he?
He's quite lagging on my end. I don't know if he is for you.
No, he looks okay for me as Ferrari Pro crosses the line. It is a high 15. It's only enough for P4 though. Bags Adele on the lap. ACW coming towards the end of one. Same with Smithy, our current pole sitter. Can he improve? He bailed out of his first flying lap. What will his second look like? It's a 15.6. What does ACW have in the tank? It's not enough. It's a 15.7. He misses out by 0.04 of a second. It's now down to Bags Liddell. Try and challenge for pole. But what about Pato as well? Forgot about Pato. He's P5. Oh, and a spin. That's Bags Liddell.
That's Bags, yeah.
Bags spinning out of the exit of the chicane. So that's it. Qualifying over for the Aston driver. He will not challenge for pole position. Out of turn 11 goes Pato. He's up by 1/10 of a second. If he wants to challenge pole, he needs to find 3.5 tenths here. It's not going to be easy at all. It needs to be a pretty spot-on final sector. Wiggle there. That would have cost him time.
Keep an eye on his teammate.
Plebs goes P5. Not a bad effort at all. Pato crosses the line and he takes P5 back. He actually lost time in the final sector. So yeah, an all-Alpine third row, which isn't too bad at all. But it's Aston Martins and Ferraris at the top of the table, and it's Smithy who's put it on pole by a very slim margin. 42 thousandths of a second between the top two at the end of qualifying.
Yeah, you mentioned about him losing time in that final sector. I noticed he ran wide coming out of turn 12. He went too wide there, and just I think that's what cost him time. Really,
Hello.
on that lap. Not just going.
Look at the top.
Oh no way! He's going.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
A 5-place grid penalty because the AI is blocking the path. Wow.
Yep.
That
Somehow Smithy hasn't got a 5 grid place penalty because Smithy's out of fuel and he was blocking. Well, the AI was blocking 4 cars down the main straight. But Blocky's AI was directly behind Smithy's AI, and as a result, ACW has got a 5 grid place penalty for the start of this race. Now, I'm not sure what we're going to do here, because that penalty is completely unjustified. But considering how late we are, I don't know if we'd have a lobby reset or not.
Good question.
I don't know. I don't know. I suppose we've got to keep an eye on the Discord to see what's happening. But
I know.
We'll go through results. Smithy on pole, ACW qualified second. He's not going to start there. Bags third, Ferrari Pro fourth, Pato fifth, Plev sixth, Spicy seventh, Gaz eighth, Simo ninth, Jimson 10th, all the way Roscoe, Arm Vision, and Davis will start from the very back. Well, isn't that... That's a blow to the nether region right there for ACW. And it's not his fault. It's nobody's fault except for the people who make this stupid game. So, I don't know what we're going to do.
Oh yeah, and I was going to mention the weather report, but I forgot to do that. It was going to be dry all the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have no weather interference, especially for the race. Well, I don't know what to make of that.
Well,
that is complete
we'll find
BS.
out.
Really BS.
We'll find out what we're going to do. Captain Players. Oh yeah, they're still T-poses. Cool.
Yeah, the T-pose is still a thing.
So yeah, anyone watching this, yeah, you got T-posing mechanics in the middle of their pit stalls because in the new update, this happened. So we got a new glitch. Enjoy it. They're not T-posing, they're A-posing. That's the correct terminology. What is this, ACW? This is F122, the authentic F1 experience of F122. That's what this is. Authenticity at its finest. So...
I'm guessing we're not going to restart from the way it looks. Gee whiz.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yep.
It's what we got. Well, it's the cards that we have, and we got to play with those cards. We got to deal with them. So that's what we got.
I guess the deal has been. Yeah, pretty much the deal has been made.
Yep. Can't do much. Anyway, we'll go through the grid order. Smithy will start from pole position. He's on the medium compound tyre for the start of this race. Yeah, quite right, Biggles. A lot of people have moved on. So, but yeah, a lot of us do love Formula 1 and we want to keep playing, but the game makes it difficult for us to actually do that. Order time. Smithy will start from pole. His teammate Bags Liddell will start second. Ferrari Pro will start third. Pato fourth, Plevs fifth. Spicy will start from P6. ACW was given an unjust penalty, a 5 grid slot penalty for the start of this race. He'll start 7th and Gaz will start 8th. From Bags all the way down to Gaz, they're all starting on the hard compound tyre. The next 2 drivers, we have Simo and Jimson. They're starting P8 and 9. They're both on the medium tyre. And then the final 3 drivers, Roscoe Arm, Vision and Davis, are all starting on the hard tyre in P11, 12 and 13. So we only have 3 drivers starting on the mediums. That means 10 are starting on the hards. Lap 16 to 20 is what the game is saying that the medium tyres can do. So they can go beyond the halfway mark. That's quite a similar trend actually with a lot of the other circuits that we've seen. The medium tyres can last according to the game, but in terms of their pace, that's a really, really important thing. Like, when does the pace drop off the tyre? That's what the driver's got to know. And the game doesn't really supply that information. You've got to work it out for yourself. Alright, all 13 cars are lined up ready to run. We've got 10 red lights, and we're underway here in Budapest. It appears to be a nice start from the Aston Martin duo. It's a superb start from them. Pado's got a decent start. He's fighting Ferrari Pro. Down into turn 1. Down the inside, he goes into the right-hander. Ferrari Pro trying to swoop around the long way. He's got the traction. He's got the speed. He's in front. Plebs and Gares battling for position. Too wide into turn 2. Plebs with the inside line. Gares fighting around the long way as they head down the hill into turn 3. Gares slots in behind into P6, followed by Spicy. ACW's lost a place at the start. He's down to P8. Jimson 9th, and Vision rounds out the 10. Vision's had a tidy start. He's up 2 positions. Around turn 5 we go. You can see a lot of those drivers just avoiding that inside curb as best they can. Through the chicane, it's a one-line section, as you can tell. All of them following one another through the section like a snake. My goodness. It's fantastic to watch, seeing them all follow each other. Absolute... Oh, running wide, that's Davis. My goodness, he ran wide.
Yep, turn 11. Unfortunately, nothing happened to him, at least.
Absolutely. So, Smithy leading. He's got 1.5 seconds over Bags Liddell. That is a huge gap on the first lap, but that is expected. He is on the medium compound tyre, and he's going to utilise the pace of that medium tyre for as long as he can. Well, you can see Gares looking, he was pulling out of the slipstream, having a look, but looking at the interval, he was way too far behind to try and do anything. Yes, Game, thank you for the predicted pit stop strategy. We made mention of that. Could you give us that towards the pit window instead of flashing it to us early in the race? Again, my goodness, like, I get, that is a really useful piece of, I can't speak, that is a really useful piece of information, but why not give it to us when the pit window arrives? How much better would that be? Instead of giving us beginning at the race. There it is again! It's listening, the game's listening to me, it has to be.
Or better yet, why not have the friggin' AWS graphic of, like, the tire performance, you know?
And have it exact.
Like they do in real life. That would be really cool.
It would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Simo, right on the back of Vision. Looking around the outside here at the penultimate corner. Well, Vision goes in deep. Simo looks to the inside, but he couldn't really get the move done. And Simo's on the medium compound tyre. You can see it right there. So he would like to get a move on. He would like to get some track position. But right now he is stuck right behind the AlphaTauri of Vision. You can see him buried in the slipstream. Here he comes. Look at the straight line speed the Alpha has to the inside. Down the inside he goes and moves through into P10. And there's Roscoe just behind. Now, rest of the gaps, KD, they're pretty even right now. Jimson, he's battling ACW, trying to find a way by. He was one of the other drivers who were on the medium compound tyre, trying to make his way forward. Tell you what, if you were buried in the pack, KD, what would you try and do in terms of strategy? Would you start on the mediums yourself, or try and go long on the hards?
Well, for a track like this, it's a really big guessing game. But I mean, for this track, I would have started on the hards compound tyre because you'll have the pace advantage towards the end of the race. And yeah, for a track that has so many corners. Oh, who was that running wide there? That was Garris that running wide at 11. I was noticing there.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like you'll get the pace advantage towards the end. You'll be really a lap quicker compared to, let's say, if anyone pits from the mediums to the hards. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to start on the mediums, of course you gotta do what Smithy's doing. It's just pull a gap as best you can, and that's exactly what he's doing.
Yellow's out. That's Davis spinning at the final corner.
Davis
gets pointed back in the right direction, and he gets down the main straightaway towards turn 1. Is KD a bit quiet, is he? I can turn him up a little bit. Give me a second.
Am I quiet?
Yeah, just a little bit. I got you though.
No worries.
That should be
Let me know if I
improvement.
need to adjust my mic.
No. It's on my end.
Yeah,
3-second time penalty for Gers as well in P6.
Ah.
But, yeah, I think if I was in the midfield position, I would start on the hard tyre. Because using the mediums in the middle of the race, in the middle of the pack, just really seems useless. Because this track is difficult enough to pass as it is. So, if you're on the medium tyre, you have to attack. Best way of attacking is exactly what Smithy is doing. Getting out in front, getting track position, and pulling away. As Gers and Spicy change places, Spicy moves through into P6, Gers down to 7th, and now he's under pressure from ACW. He's coming out to the final corner, using some battery, using some DRS. Down the main straightaway we go. Gers is gaining, but so is ACW. ACW to the outside. Gers tries to look to the inside, but couldn't commit. ACW looking around the long way. Oh, they make just a little bit of contact, I think. Just a teeny weeny bit, but they get through. Jimson closes in, but not by enough. Oh! What the? Gers and Spicy.
Gee whiz, yeah, they made contact at turn 2. He ran to the back of him.
Ew. I guess Gers outbroke himself.
I'm gonna have a hard time with this because they are lagging a lot on my end.
Oh, okay.
So I'll try the best I can to, I'll try the best to, see what's actually going on. But yeah, that looked legitimate what I saw.
Yeah, yikes. Well, that's quite unfortunate then for both Spicy and Gers because they've lost a ton of positions as a result. That's gifted ACW 2 free places. Same with Jimson and Simo. Yellow's out. That was Gers spinning again. That's at turn 9. And he's got a missing end plate too. So he's got damage on that car. He'll have to come in and get that fixed. But yeah, I wasn't expecting anything heading down towards turn 2 because you usually don't see that much. So I'm guessing, Gers just outbroke himself, hit Spicy, took themselves out at turn 2. So I can readjust it again because it's okay.
Yeah, pretty much is the case.
But yes, interesting there at turn 2.
Loud.
I've got it covered. It's alright.
Yep.
I boosted it up a bit too much.
Good.
And Gers is retired out of the session as well, so... Well, that's unfortunate. We had 13 for the start of this race. If you finished, you scored, and Gers has had enough. So he might have felt quite bad after what happened at turn 2. I know from experience that I had an accident with someone that I was completely at fault of, and I decided to retire from the race. It was an event at Austria, and I really screwed up. Like, I messed up quite badly. I didn't mean to do it, but yeah, it was completely my fault. And out of sympathy for taking the guy out, I retired as well. So that might have been a sympathy retirement from Gers. It might be complete frustration, because that's a more common one, is the driver gets so frustrated they had enough and they quit. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Quickly readjust this again.
No worries. Yeah, he's been. Yeah, from what I guess Biggles is saying, there's a little distortion from my end or something.
Yeah, because I've boosted it up too much.
Or that would be David. Oh no! Oh, it's Vision. Nope, it's the other Alpha Tower.
Oh, it is too.
That's fun. At the exit of turn 13.
I didn't quite spot Davis's dot going through the second sector. I didn't see it because of the... well, there's now yellow flags thanks to Davis spinning out at the penultimate corner. He's not having a great time with that car at all. Who is having a great time, though, is Smithy. He is building a margin over his teammate, a really comfortable one at that, at 5.5 seconds. Bags Liddell in P2 now has a time penalty next to his name, which is seriously less than ideal. I mean, it's like 7 of 35. And you've already got a 3-second time penalty. It doesn't exactly bode well. And I know Bags decently well. He's pretty good at not getting penalties, so yeah, he'd be a bit frustrated at that. Vision now with a spin at turn 5. He probably touched the inside curb, I would guess. But man, yeah, it's going to be a tall order for Bags to try and overcome that penalty, because the drivers behind him, they're still right there. They have not fallen away.
Yep, and don't have a penalty either to their name.
Yeah.
Their fair credit. But yeah, not a great day for AlphaTauri though, like you mentioned. Yeah, down all the way 11 to 12. Yeah.
All they have to do is finish. All they have to do is finish. They don't have to do anything spectacular. If they both finish, they both score points. Here in Race Spec, the top 15 drivers score. So with only a 13-car field, it will mean everyone would score. Gares is out, so that gives Vigid and Davis a free spot. And if they just keep surviving, who knows, there might be other casualties over the course of this race. It is Hungaroring, after all. You do see that from time to time, so all they have to do is survive. Yep. It's a bit like Monaco. All you have to do is survive.
Yep.
Now, Ferrari Pro, he's been on the back of Bags Liddell. He has not found a way by. 3.5 tenths behind. He is so close to getting by. He just needs a nice run. There is Smithy way off in the distance. He was heading around the final corner. So surely he can make a run. I agree, Biggles. I think Ferrari Pro could make a run here. He is close. He's got battery switched on. DRS switched on. He's buried in the slipstream, heading down towards turn 1. But look at the speed difference. There's not much speed difference. Ferrari Pro is not gaining. So either Ferrari Pro is running a lot of wing, which is increasing the drag, or Bags is running quite a slippery race car. He's got quite low wings. So it's either or.
Pretty much, yeah.
And at the moment, Bags is keeping position. He's able to hang on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're having the exact same, but if you have the exact same setup, maybe I understand that it can be difficult to pass, for sure, unless you get a good run somewhere to try overtake the car in front of you.
Let's see, oh, bit of a wiggle from Ferrari Pro there through turn 8, I believe it was. Oh, yeah, the pace is pretty even through the middle sector, it seems, from both Bags and Ferrari Pro through that mid sector. Those tyres should last a while, Biggles. According to the game, they should do 19 to, what was it, 16 to 20 laps. So basically Smithy's tyres are about halfway done. And right now he's doing exactly what he needs to do. Build up a margin to those behind, create a cushion, get onto the hard tyre, and then sort of compensate later on. What wouldn't work in Smithy's favour is a poorly timed safety car after his pit stop. Sort of the best case scenario for Smithy is a well-timed pit stop, about lap 13 to, let's say, lap 20. Within that period, if there is a safety car, Smithy's in the hot seat because he can box onto a set of hards and make it to the end, whereas everyone else might be struggling a little bit. So Smithy, he's in a strong position unless a bit of bad luck goes his way. So right now he's still extending the margin. Ferrari Pro losing time here in the middle sector. Gaps increased to a bit over 8 tenths. It then shrunk down to 7 tenths out of turn 11, heading down into turn 12. There is Pato behind, and Plez. Two Alpines applying pressure to the Ferrari. And as of right now, the Alpines are still looking solid here for big constructors' points. They're still very much in the fight with Aston Martin and with Ferrari. So these three teams are out battling for the Constructors' Championship. Got a big margin over McLaren, a huge margin over McLaren of, I believe it was 65 points, I believe the margin was. Humongous.
Yeah, from what you mentioned. Yeah, that's quite a margin.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pato might be close. No, never mind. I thought he was closer than what I anticipated. But I'm guessing maybe Ferrari Pro's just not coping with the dirty air quite well around here either, because that can also be quite a thing here too.
Ooh, Spicy trying to make a move at turn 2, round turn 3. Oh, well done Roscoe for hanging on, but here comes Spicy. Oh no, he backs out. I was going to say, if you're going to go too wide through turn 4, you better have your will and testament ready on you, because you're going to die if you go through turn 4 side by side. That don't work. That do not work. But Spicy very intelligently backs out of that situation and doesn't do anything silly. Back to this.
There you go. Well, back to our program, I guess.
Back to our standard program of watching P2.
Yep. No, I was just saying that maybe Ferrari Pros are struggling with the derriere because I know that can be quite a thing around Hungary if you're stuck in a bit of a DRS train, especially through the middle sector. I understand how painful, painful it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bagstill got a pretty decent exit at turn 14.
Davis.
Oh, yellows out again.
No,
That's
Vision.
Davis. Oh, Vision, he spun again. Okay, the other Alpha
Davis is getting close to being lapped. Down in 12th position. Smithy is closing in at a rate of knots. As Spicy gets by Roscoe. That is for P9. He's done it at turn 1, it seems. Roscoe's fighting back. Down towards turn 2, and he backs out. So Roscoe doesn't want to continue the fight. He slots in behind Spicy. Accepts defeat, and Spicy moves up into 9th position. Back to the battle of P2.
Seriously, right? Well... Ferrari's now 2 tenths behind. Bags doesn't seem like he got some good runs through that bit of the middle sector. Through turn 11. Yeah, it's been marginal at least, about 3 tenths. It's between that and 2.5 tenths through that middle sector.
Alright, Ferrari Pro, you need to line this up, mate. So you need the run out of here, out of turn 13. Oh, Bag's got a pretty decent run out of 13. Around 14. Look at the Aston pulling away out of the corner. Bags is getting some pretty good traction at a corner exit, but you can see the flashing light at the back of the car. You can see the flashing light at the back of the Aston Martin. So Bags is low on battery. We'll bring up telemetry just for a little bit. So we can see here Ferrari Pro gaining, looking to the inside. Bags gives him room. Oh, but Bags getting the traction on the exit through turn 3. Now heading up the hill towards 4. Ferrari Pro gaining, but you can't make a move here. You have to stay behind. Oh, that was an opportunity for sure for Ferrari Pro. Just couldn't quite make it stick. You can see here 27% for Ferrari Pro compared to Bags on 13%. It's not a huge difference, but it does matter. Battery life has a huge amount of importance when it comes to the racing in this game. Because the battery is ridiculous. It's so overpowered. The more you have, the better off you'll be. Right now, Bags does not have a huge amount of battery. Coming around turn 12, down towards turn 13. Nice and steady around the left-hander. Avoiding that inside curb. You don't want to touch that inside curb there at 13. And around turn 14. A Ferrari Pro. Does he have the traction? No, he still doesn't. Bags just has enough speed out of that final corner, but here comes the Ferrari with a ton of straight line speed. To the outside, he looks here at turn 1. Bags forcing him a tad bit wide. Very much within the spirit of racing. Here comes Ferrari Pro though. Counter-attacks around the outside of turn 2, runs it a bit deep, but he'll have the inside line at 3, almost making contact, and Ferrari Pro will take second away from Bags Liddell. It took a while for the move to happen, but it finally has.
Now Ferrari Pro just needs to get the hammer down a little bit too. See if he can try to close up that gap between himself and Smithy as best he can. And
I think Ferrari Pro dumped most of his battery to try and make that move stick. He waited and waited and waited. And he eventually made his move at the beginning of lap 14. Can he pull away now? At the moment, he has a little. He's built up half a second over Bags Liddell, which isn't a huge margin, but it's a margin nonetheless. The Bags, he'll still have DRS assistance down the main straightaway. And we saw, and we're seeing right now, he's getting better exits out of 13 and 14 compared to Ferrari Pro. Oh, but he didn't. Oh, he got a better exit. Didn't get a great mid-corner, though. Lost a couple of hundredths to the Ferrari in the middle of turn 14. And he only gains a couple of tenths. So, Bagsy's going to do all he can to try and keep up with the Ferrari, but it won't be easy. It won't be easy at all. Pato still has a bit of battery next to his name. He's got 30% in P4. Plev's looking pretty good with 43, and ACW with the most in this train, he has 52%. And he's not happy, ACW. He's mildly angry after what happened after I imagine he was properly angry after qualifying, but now he's mildly angry because qualifying was a little while ago. but he's still angry.
Yeah. Yeah, and at least, yeah, for his sake though, at least it caught up to the train. He was at 3 seconds a few laps ago, but yeah, he's just showing he's got some pace at least. Or at least what he could have shown also if that 5-place grid penalty didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Out in front, Smithy's walking away with it, and we saw in qualifying the top two were only separated by 42 thousandths of a second, and P2 was ACW, so ACW had pace underneath him. It would have been fascinating to see how his pace would have looked like relative to Smithy, because Smithy's just pulled away. It's his race right now, so
yeah, and he's loving life at that moment as well.
Oh yeah, oh who wouldn't be? You're on
of course
comfortable tyres in a comfortable car. Your rivals are way behind and they're battling one another. Life is good over at Aston Martin right now. And your teammate is third. He's in that train, providing a bit of backup. You know, everything is just coming into place for Aston Martin here at the Hungaroring. And there is Davis, I believe. That's Davis. Yes, it is. Making his way through. Ooh. Well, he's getting out of the way here. This is very courteous from Davis. Now, it is a rule in Race Spec that even though ghosting is turned on, lap traffic still have to obey the blue flags that are given. So you need to give way. All that the ghosting system is meant to do is add in a bit of a fail-safe. Like if a lap car makes a mistake or the track is a bit too awkward to let drivers through, then the ghosting can do that job. But lap cars are still meant to get out of the way. And Davis did a really nice job using the runoff area, getting well out of the way, letting the leaders through. Very courteous stuff. Now Jimson, he's made his way into the pits. He'll be getting off those medium compound tyres and bolting on a set of hards that he can use up until the end of the race. Now, down into turn 2, Bags Liddell, he's keeping up, Bags. You got to give him credit. He's got car speed underneath it. Of course, he's getting DRS assistance, but so did Ferrari Pro. So it seems that Ferrari Pro and Bags are pretty even here in Hungary.
Yeah, in terms of the pace, I probably would agree on that for sure.
It's just a matter of, well, what do you do in Bags' situation? You got a penalty.
Ooh, he lost the back end there. He used too much curve, and here comes Pato.
Damn it, the camera angle did not give me a good look at that, unfortunately. But yes, you're right, Bags has undone himself here, and he's moved down to 4th position. Fortunately, he hasn't moved down to 5th. Ah, the game screwed me over. I didn't get an angle of that. Well, and Smithy's in.
Yep. Into the pits he goes. So, yeah, Ferrari Pro will take the lead. Oh, Pato's coming in too, apparently.
Well, the medium
yeah.
said 20 laps most, so tyres should be able to do that.
That's fair enough. So.
And will Smithy get some clear air? There is an AlphaTauri coming, but he shouldn't have to worry about that. That car will be ghosting. Yeah, he's got clear air, essentially. So this is exactly what Smithy wants. Clear air and fresh tyres. He's essentially given himself a license to push. And he needs to. He needs to get those tyres. He shouldn't push right now because the tyres are stone cold. But get them up to temperature and go.
Yep.
So, and they'll put Smithy in a seriously strong position. But no, this is now given an opportunity for Ferrari Pro to try and drive away. Bags will not have DRS anymore to help him out. But you can see through this middle sector, he is gaining just a smidgen on Ferrari Pro. Again, sort of reaffirming the theory that these two are pretty close in terms of pace. So it's quite unfortunate that Bags made that little oopsie. That's pushed him a bit further back. Hopefully, he'll be able to catch up somehow. Ferrari Pro, Bags is in. This might be his opportunity. He's going for an undercut.
Get off the tires and go to the mediums.
Will this work?
Well, he wants to get the tires up to temperature obviously quickly as he can. It will be easier to do so thanks to the mediums, obviously. But yeah, that's what he's going to do.
There goes Spicy Roscoe Arm. Pato is arriving here. This is going to get tight.
Oh. He nearly put it into the wall and pit exit there, Bags.
Well, Pato's made the undercar work. He's now in front of Bags, and he's going to pull away from Bags too. So that undercut is worth trying, for sure. Now, I wonder if Pato could potentially challenge Ferrari Pro. Maybe. If he gains enough on these laps, Ferrari Pro might be under a bit of pressure. Wait and see.
That's a good thinking there. I think he might get... Well, let's see. I think from judging by this, that it could be close. And when Ferrari Pro goes in, he's staying out.
He's staying out. Plebs is in. ACW stays out.
I don't know about that, Ferrari Pro. I would have come in this lap and responded.
Yeah, this is an interesting strategy. Again, from Ferrari, of all teams. This has happened on several occasions with the Ferrari team of F1 Ferrari Pro and ACW. They have done this several times to us. There goes Pato, and there goes Bags Liddell. And remember, Plebs has to get these tyres up to temperature. So although he's a second behind right now, that gap is going to increase considerably in a couple of sectors, because those tyres are stone cold. They'll have no grip whatsoever. Look at the gap. It's now 1.8 seconds. 1.9 as he heads through turn 3. Heading up the hill towards turn 4. The gap will increase even more. So, yeah. This is putting those on the medium tyres right now in a pretty decent advantage. Okay, what do Ferrari do here? I hope they get the strategy right. We've seen them get it wrong.
I mean, it's 18.2 between... No, he's staying out still, really.
ACW's in. So...
ACW, oh dear. Oh
interesting,
dear.
the car behind goes in first.
But that's the car in front.
Okay.
I don't know what you're thinking here, but okay.
Keep an eye on that blue dot. It's making its way around the final corner and back onto the main straight. And the Ferrari garage is a fair way back. There goes Pato. Here comes Bags Liddell. Here comes Plebs.
Yep.
And ACW is at the back of the train. Egg. Well, he was at the back of the train to begin with. He's now 1.5 seconds behind Plebs.
Yeah,
rather than a few tenths.
Yeah, and that gap's going to increase thanks to the Stone Cold Mediums. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
Have Ferrari done a boo-boo?
Oh, well, someone's done that, and that's Bags.
Yeah.
He's got himself another penalty.
Yeah, this is going to get interesting. What does Ferrari Pro do? Does he pit this lap? Or is he trying to go long? Try and pit onto the soft tyre or something? Or is he gambling for a potential race win? Maybe a well-timed safety car? No, he's coming in.
No, he's coming in.
So this is just a really long stint on the hard tyre. Yellows are out. Is that Davis or Vision?
It's
Davis.
It's Davis. He's in the wall. He's going still. At least for a sec. Oh dear, this is not going to be ideal, I'd say.
Keep an eye on the blue dot. Now, Pato, will he get by F1 Ferrari Pro? He has been held up a little bit by Spicy. There he gets by.
There you go.
So does Bags Liddell. Plebs is arriving soon, and remember, Plebs will have warm tyres. Ferrari Pro has no warm tyres on his car right now. He has to get them nice and warm. It will take a couple of sectors to do that, so Plebs will close in, and Bags Liddell should pull away, and he is pulling away. The gap has shrunk to 8.5 tenths between Plebs and Ferrari Pro. It's now shrunken down to 8 tenths through turn 4. Bit awkward there from Plebs, but he got around the corner. Around turn 5. Tidy exit out of 5. Into the chicane now. Down from 6th gear to 4th. Clipping both curves pretty spot on. Tidy exit 2 as he heads around turn 8. Up towards turn 9. Tidy exit again. Alright, so Ferrari Pro's tyres, they should be up to temperature by now. So he does have Plebs within a second of him. But he's got a comfortable enough gap. 9 tenths, so you can work with that. Bags Liddell, meanwhile, has got a bit of traffic. He's got Spicy, who is not moving into the pit lane. Spicy is going along on these tyres, and Pado's laughing in P2. He's loving the fact that Spicy is holding him up. And there goes Bags into P3 now, on track. Spicy down to 4th. Gap now, 1.7 seconds between Pado and Bags.
Now he's got really for this sake, maybe hold a Ferrari Pro for a little bit, because he's got that 6 seconds with the Benz.
Yes, that's Bags' best hope right now, is that Spicy holds up the cars behind for long enough so then Bags can begin to build a margin. I must say, the person who's won out of all of this is Pado.
It's Pado, yep, yeah. I agree.
Out of that battle, that 5-6 car battle that we had earlier, person who's won out of that is Pado. Done it. Yeah, absolutely spot on.
Oh yeah.
Yellows again. That is Davis. No damage, just a spin. All he needs to do is survive. That's all he needs to do. But of course, a major winner out of all of this, including all the field, is Smithy, because the gap has actually increased between P1 and 2. So he's done exactly what he's needed to do. So Pado, he's going to run out of time before he can catch up.
Yeah, I don't think the stars will be into optimal performance.
Yeah.
That was close between with Plebs there and braking there in turn 1.
Plebs would want to get by here. To the inside, he'll look.
He'll do so, I think. A lot tighter than I expected.
That was close. Woo.
Yeah.
They made contact. That could have been nasty, but thank goodness they didn't. Yeah, and now Spicy got ACW to deal with.
Plus, not gonna try. Sorry, go ahead.
Through the chicane, I was about to say, you can't really do much throughout this part of the lap. Like, you're on 20 lap fresher tyres. Look at ACW. He's all over the back of the Mercedes, and he can't find a way by. Gap sitting at 210, he'll close in, but he can't do anything here. When we say it's Monaco without the walls, we mean it. It is really, really tough to pass around this circuit. The only real opportunity you got is into turn 1 and into turn 2. That is it. Anywhere else, it's a no-go. Ferrari Pro sets a new fastest lap. Here comes ACW.
They'll get by. Easy.
Nice and simple. P6 for him. Ferrari Pro is catching Bags Liddell. So we're going to have a battle on for 3rd. And in fairness to Liddell, he's actually caught up a bit to Pado. So maybe this fight for 2nd isn't exactly over just yet. Jimson, Roscoe battling. Jimson is in front. No, Roscoe is. Down towards turn 2. Roscoe to the inside. Jimson round the outside here at the left-hander. Who is in front? I think it's a McLaren. Jimson with the inside line. But Roscoe fights round the long way at 3. And he gets in front too, heading into turn 4. Fantastic stuff. Round the outside at 3. You don't see that too often.
Nope. Very good move there. Clean battle as well between those two guys.
Yeah. It's pity the game didn't give me good outboard angles of that. I had to ride on board for the end of that to see where the drivers were. Game kind of screwing me over there, but I don't have any control over that. Now,
meanwhile,
Ferrari Pro. Is he going to get by? I think the answer's pretty simple here. He's got the speed. He's got a bit of battery to play with too. Drawing alongside. Getting in front with the inside line at turn 1. Ferrari Pro moves into 3rd position. And with a bit of DRS help as well, down to 2nd straight away, he'll keep P3. Bags Liddell can't quite fight back. Roscoe getting by Spicy, who has pitted for soft tyres. So Spicy's just said, screw it. I'm going to put on softs and see what I can do. So yeah, absolutely, Biggles. Lift the stamp and send it. That's definitely what Roscoe did. Round the outside, sent it round. Made it stick too. And Jimson gave him room, as you mentioned, KD. They kept it tidy, which isn't easy to do. Like, we know that off experience, that isn't easy to do. So, ACW's going to put some pressure here on Plebs, isn't he?
Yeah, he will be in a minute. Now, of course, we all know what the situation was from what happened earlier. And he called for a restart. That didn't happen. Now he's going to try to get by Mr. Race Spec.
Yeah, I wonder how this is going to go down. Now, these two on screen have famously come together several times. Plebs defends the inside line into turn 1. But ACW goes right round the long way. He was able to outbrake, outturn, and outdrag his rival. How about that? Plebs couldn't do much. He did all he could defending the inside. ACW said, oh, I'll just take the outside then. And just drive around him. Don't see that all too often either.
No, you know, and they made no contact, so pats on the back for both of them.
Yes, no incident this time around. Thank goodness for that.
Goodness.
So... Bags of Dell still keeping up with Ferrari Pro, who's actually catching Pato, so I reckon, KD, we might have a battle on for second.
Good.
Meanwhile, Smithy's just in front.
Yeah, he's just loving life.
Sorry, Smithy, we haven't given you a great deal of screen time, but there's a good reason for that, and that is the fact you're leading by 8.5 seconds. So, we're keeping an eye on the battles, which tend to be more interesting to watch. Meanwhile, you're just out here just doing exactly what you need to do. Out in front, hitting your marks, just being absolutely spot on. It's good driving. It's just, this stuff tends to be more entertaining.
Yep. It's just you're just more a respectful driver because of what you're doing.
Yep, absolutely. And this would mean as... Oh,
hang on.
That's just Davis, I think.
Davis getting out of the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Spicy down the inside of Simo here at turn 1, and he moves in front. And he's into P9. Lovely stuff there. As you'd probably expect, he's on the soft compound tyre, so...
Of course.
Spicy's in send it mode. So, he's going to send it and see if it sticks. Yellow's out again. That is Davis again. No, damage again. He's just spun.
And no, Biggles, we're not retired and all. We're just commentating the race. We do also race in our respective other leagues.
Yes, Mr. KD over here races in America's Tier 1. It's been a while since there have been tiers in America's series, but it's good to see them back. It's a no assist tier for Mr. KD here, and he's our defending America Series champion. Meanwhile, myself I've decided to torture myself and do Formula Endurance, which is a series where you do 100% length races. And you're quite right, KD, I forgot. Mighty Wombat won last season. You won season 6. My apologies.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I mean, I'm defending Constructors champion.
Defending Constructors. There you go.
Two-time, actually, because I won with Mercedes in season 6.
There you go.
Along with the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, no, I forgot about the season we just had, where Mighty Wombat won the Drivers' Championship for that season. But, yeah, no, we're still competing in this game. I'd say we're competing a lot less than what we used to do in the past. We used to compete quite a lot. But I personally have toned it down significantly. I mean, Formula Endurance is the only thing I'm competing in these days. So,
I have a second round, by the way.
Yes. Oh, that was a screen freeze right there. Ferrari Pro just lost 2/10 out of nowhere. Out of the final corner for me.
I didn't notice that. I didn't get that on my end.
Interesting. He was still for like 2-3 frames. I managed to pick that up. That was quite odd. And we also have a battle for 4th too.
Well, tell Yarno, Biggles, thank you.
Now
I do like.
Spicy.
Oh, sorry. Did Paddle? Okay, I don't know if it's lag or because he lost the back end on my screen. Like I said, probably wasn't for your end.
I wasn't looking at Pat, I was looking at Mr. Ferrari Pro here, so I didn't see. But he
Oh,
could have,
fair enough.
he has maybe lost a little bit of time. Hard to say. They're about that sort of gap before turn 5, so yeah, hard to say. But right now, Ferrari Pro is definitely applying pressure. Yeah,
So,
maybe Smithy might have the time to maybe do a burnout or two heading down the main straightaway. It's up to him. But I'd like winning with that kind of margin. I would like that. Just 8.5 seconds. It makes it look nice.
Shit. I remember freaking America Series in Season 6. In France, I won by like 25 seconds and did a burnout. That was actually the largest I mean, in terms of league racing, I think that was the largest margin I've ever won a race. Ever. Which actually was pretty cool, in my opinion.
Oh, Ferrari Pro's getting
Ferrari
racy.
Pro. Yeah, he is getting quite racy.
Alright. So we got 5 laps to go, including lap 31. And this is the battle for second. 3.5 tenths separating these two. The Italian in front, driving the Alpine, GeForce Pato. He's got track position, and around a racetrack like this, you definitely need track position. Ferrari Pro though behind in P3. He is directly behind the Alpine. Only 3.5 tenths behind, 4 tenths behind. If he can string together a solid run through the final sector, he'll be able to challenge the Alpine down into turn 1. But he needs a run through this final sector. Needs a tidy exit out of 13. You need a good run here out of the final corner as well. Vision and Davis are pitting in again. That's okay, they're doing their own race. Down the main straightaway. Ferrari Pro is not close enough here. He needs a better run throughout the next lap. Alright, into turn 1, 4th gear. Nice and tidy through 1. There is Davis in front, I do believe. He'll get out of the way very, very shortly. Round turn 2. 3rd gear, short shifts. Up to 4th. Round turn 3. Heading up the hill towards turn 4, 7th gear. You bring it down from 7th, down to 6th gear, clipping the apex, absolutely spot on. Round turn 5, avoiding that inside curve just about. And the gap is 3.5 tenths of a second. Into the chicane, turn 6 and 7. Tidy exit out to the left-hander. Around the other left-hander of turn 8, now into 9. Oh, Pato's starting to pull away here. He's building up a few extra hundredths on that gap to Ferrari Pro. Ferrari Pro not able to respond as Jimson gets a 3-second time penalty. Again, KD, I don't think he'll be close enough to do anything here. Too far back.
I probably would agree with you. Same song dance, pretty much, it seems. But also, we can't forget, sorry.
I think the only way Ferrari Pro is going to get by is if Pato makes a mistake.
That's a good, fair point. I was also going to mention too, like about ACW and Bags. Pato, they're close to one of those too for 4th, but I mean we know ACW will get him because of penalties.
Yeah, absolutely.
As long as he doesn't make a mistake, that's the main story for him.
Yeah, with Bags Liddell having 6 seconds worth of penalties, he's not only going to finish behind ACW, but he's also going to finish behind Plevs. So Plevs will get another top 5, and with Pato getting either 2nd or 3rd, we'll see in the remaining laps, it'll be another solid points haul for Alpine, but it will be equally a solid points haul for Ferrari and Aston Martin. So that Constructors fight, it's going to be a really, really interesting one to look at in the next few races that we have, because it's definitely a 3-way fight between Aston Martin, Ferrari and Alpine, for sure. Alright, 4.5 tenths. Pato making his way out of the penultimate corner. Ferrari Pro actually closed in a little bit there. Got a solid run together. Done well. Pato moves to the inside. He's low on battery, but so is Ferrari Pro. Darts back to the racing line. Ferrari Pro can't send it from here. Oh, as much as he wanted to try, you couldn't send it from there. He was way too far back. Dumping his battery again, down towards turn 2. Looks again to the inside, but again not close enough. Can he try and create a mistake from G-Force Pato? Vision sets a new fastest lap, 17.9. So he'll gain that extra point. Pato needs to keep his eyes forward. He can't worry about the Ferrari behind through here. Ferrari Pro cannot pass through the middle sector. It is impossible. Pato just needs to keep his eyes forward. Hit the apexes. Hit your marks. He's doing exactly that. Tidy run out of turn 11. Ferrari Pro hunting down his rival, doing everything he can to try and get as close as possible to the Alpine. Around the penultimate corner. Turn 13. Up towards the final corner. The gap is sitting at half a second. Tidy exit. Is Ferrari Pro close enough? It's now the final lap. Lap 35 of 35 here at the Hungaroring. Ferrari Pro is close. He dives it in deep. Pulls the car up as Bags Liddell and ACW battle through turn 1. Contact between the two cars. And through goes ACW into 4th position. Ferrari Pro still behind Pato. 0.3 of a second separate these two as they head up the hill towards turn 4 for the final time. Chucking it through the left-hander, into the right-hander of turn 5. 4th gear, modulating the throttle, trying to find the most amount of traction possible out of turn 5, into the chicane of 6 and 7. Davis with another 3-second time penalty. He now has 9. Not that it matters too much, considering his position. Out of turn 9, around turn 10, into turn 11 for the final time. Here's one final opportunity for Ferrari Pro. Down towards turn 12. He can't go for it. He has to stay behind Pato. Smithy, meanwhile, has driven a masterclass here at the Hungaroring. It'll be Smithy who wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Pato, meanwhile, is hanging on for dear life. And he's going to succeed as well. What a drive. It'll be Pato who finishes in 2nd, Ferrari Pro in 3rd. ACW recovers to 4th, and Bags Liddell, he'll drop down to P6, promoting Plebs to P5. Roscoe will be our next finisher, followed by Spicy in P8, making their way around the final corner now and back onto the main straightaway. P7 then for Roscoe, P8 for Spicy. Then it'll be P9 for Jimson, and Simo will round out the top 10. He's out of fuel, by the way. Simo ran out of fuel. So, and it'll be the two AlphaTauris who finish in 11th and 12th. They will score points, and Vision, if I'm not mistaken, does have fastest lap. So he'll get that extra point too.
Well, there you go.
Simo crawls across the line, and he'll finish in 10th. Out of fuel. Yeah, I reckon what your most BS thing ever happened to you, ACW. I reckon I know exactly what that is. But yeah, I'm sorry for you, mate. After what happened in qualifying, you got robbed of a front row start. Yeah, really sorry for you. Congratulations, though, to this man, Smithy. A superb performance here at the Hungaroring. Led every lap. Fully deserves this race win. P2 goes to G-Force Pato. P3 completing the podium is F1 Ferrari Pro. So the unofficial results of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Smithy is our race winner by 9.5 seconds over G-Force Pato in P2. Completing the podium places will be F1 Ferrari Pro in P3. ACW recovered well after a 5-grid place penalty after qualifying. He finishes in 4th with Plebs rounding out the top 5. Behind him is Bags Liddell in P6 with those time penalties. He will finish in P6. Less than ideal, but it's still solid points for him and Aston Martin. Roscoe 7th, Spicy 8th, Jimson 9th, and the Simo will round out the top 10. Vision will score fastest lap in P11, with David finishing in 12th. Gares was our only retirement from the event. He had an incident with Spicy down at turn 2. Didn't quite catch it. Definitely caught the aftermath of it. Both drivers were sent off into the runoff area outside of turn 2. And then Gares, during that same lap, promptly retired in the pit lane. Not totally sure why. I suppose we'll find out during the week. But yeah, 13 cars started, 12 finished. And Smithy, our race winner. Alright, we'll invite Pato and Ferrari Pro in.
Pato says they can't make it.
Oh yeah, he'll have work. He said that in the Discord, because we were running so late. It was actually eating into his work time. So hopefully he'll be able to get to work on time and not have any upset bosses around the workplace. So that means we'll only have Ferrari Pro for interviews. That's okay. There's a fair bit to chat to Ferrari Pro about, especially the strategy. Because yeah, that was a bit of an oopsie, but we'll be back in just a bit. Alright. Turn down the theme as well. Damn it, that theme can get loud. Oh. Well, that was a race, KD.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. A race. A normal Formula 1 race.
It was a race. 13 car race.
Yeah. There is a saying that you have said before. It's not about the size of the field, it's about the quality. And it was a quality race.
Yeah.
I'll give them credit.
The field size doesn't dictate racing quality. I have always believed that has been the case forever and ever. And tonight, yeah, I mean, you don't expect the most bombastic race in the world, but yeah, it wasn't too bad tonight. Are you there, Ferrari Pro?
Yeah, I'm here.
Said hello.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good.
Great, you're our only interviewee tonight. Pato isn't able to make it, and obviously I can't interview Smithy as he's on PC, so you're my one and only interviewee for tonight. But
Yes.
P3, congratulations with the result. Are you happy with it?
Not really. Honestly, I'm pretty happy for the podium. But I thought I could have done a bit better tonight. You know, maybe challenge for the win, but you know, Smithy just chose a pretty good strategy of just going on the medium, starting from pole.
Yeah.
And then pulling that big of a margin, then we just really didn't have much to worry about when we went onto the hards. But
yeah.
Oh man, I've got so close to Pato there. It would have been nice to get P2, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Well, how was qualifying first and foremost?
It was actually pretty good. I wasn't feeling entirely confident going into it. You know, I put in some pretty good lap times when I was doing like practice and that. But like I wasn't extremely confident going into it. It's just like, especially after I did the spin, I think on my second run, I wasn't really too happy about that. But yeah. I just put my head down for the final one and I got fairly close. But I think in the end it was like 2 tenths away from me being on pole. So yeah.
Fair enough. Race start as well. How was it on your end?
It was pretty good. I was actually pretty satisfied with that. But I think if I got bags, I could have maybe stuck with Smithy a tiny little bit. But again, it is what it is. Bags held on well for the amount of time he held on for. So before I overtook him, so it was a lot of improvement, but yeah, it was alright.
Was it a bit frustrating being stuck behind Liddell for that long?
Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. I was like, this bloody Aston Martin game, man. Holding the Ferrari up the teammate holding the Ferrari up, the closest challenger.
Yep, seemed like it. It was a bit of a tough task, it seemed like, for a while on those hard tyres, because looking at the splits and looking at the interval, you were pretty even with him for a lot. And then before the pit stop period, you switched on whatever you had left in terms of the battery and sent it. You managed to get through.
It's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool overtake. I think I went on the outside of turn 1. He got the better line in turn 1, so he stayed ahead. Then I just kind of went around the outside of turn 2.
Yep. Got yourself the inside line at 3 and got in front.
Yeah, I was pretty happy with that one.
Yep, fair enough.
That's fair.
Was it a bit irritating then, though, that he kept up with you and you weren't able to pull away?
Yeah, I think as soon as I got those 2 warnings, I really just started to think about more not getting a penalty. Otherwise, I would have been stuffed at the race end. So
yeah,
I think I could have pushed more maybe if I had 1 warning or even just none. But I just couldn't quite pull away from him. And, yeah.
Oh, fair enough. Now we're heading towards the pit stop window. Your rivals behind start pitting. The first was Pato. He pitted earliest out of that group of cars in that train. A lot of other drivers starting to pit, and the only 2 left out of that train was you and your teammate ACW. Now, here in the comm box, we were fearing for another Ferrari strat. And
it turns out it was a Ferrari strat.
It was a bit, wasn't it?
It was a little bit, but it wasn't totally the biggest blunder. If I'm being honest.
It could have been worse, I suppose.
I mean, if there was an elite series drive to survive, then I think tonight would definitely be included for the strategy. But I think looking back on it, I really should have maybe responded to Pato, because I wasn't quite sure the mediums could go those extra couple laps, and even going into the final couple laps, you could see me really chasing down Pato.
Yeah.
And I just really didn't think those mediums could go to the end, so that's why I held out, and I didn't think he would undercut me by that much. I don't think when I was coming out of the pit lane, I think he was already in turn 1, so I didn't think he was going to undercut me that much. But I think that was definitely a mistake on my half.
Well, you live and you learn, I suppose, is what you got to take from that.
As Nicky Lauda said, the best races that he had are the ones that he didn't do too well in, because he learnt from them.
Yeah, that's right. You learn a lot more from your losses than you do from your success. Is it your birthday?
Yeah.
Today's his birthday. He's 16.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I was pretty happy. I was pretty oh yeah, I want to get a podium on my birthday. That'd be all right. But
I forgot about that. Yeah, until you just mentioned it.
But I was as soon as you want to have that win mode, you go oh yeah, I want to win on my birthday, and now I'm a bit disappointed. Podium, but it's still alright.
It's a podium. It's what you wanted. It's just you could have done a bit better.
I could have done.
But hey, don't we all? We could all do a little bit better here and there. I'm almost certain of it. But you hunted down Pato, and I reckon if you had at least 2 laps, you probably would have got in. Maybe even 1 if you got the right run together. But it didn't quite materialise, unfortunately, for you. And P3 is the best you got at the end of that. Yeah. So.
Still pretty solid points though, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Exactly. It will mean that Smithy won't jump ahead massively in the Drivers' Champion. I mean, I think it's... is it you leading by 4, then Smithy and ACW?
Right now I lead by 4, yeah, so...
So after this, 30... What is it? 30, 27, 24, is it? Something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be close between you and Smithy after this round, I would think.
I think it will stay between like the 4-point like buffer and all that, maybe 5. But like, yeah, it won't be too drastic.
Yeah, fair enough. KD, do you have anything to ask Ferrari Pro?
That's happy birthday. Of course, I know I mentioned that to you already, but
Thanks, KD.
still, yeah, of course, happy birthday again. Hey, you're 6. Hey, I guess not bad for your 16th birthday, at least.
Yeah. Well, we won the Remember. Yeah, pretty happy with that.
There you go.
Were you in Leclerc's car, by the way, or Sainz's?
I was in Sainz.
Oh, yeah. You could have been in Leclerc's. That had 16 on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I should have. Damn it, ACW.
That might have gave you better luck.
Yeah, it could have, because I usually take Leclerc's, because... Yeah, I don't know why.
Oh, well.
I usually take his.
Well, it's whatever.
Maybe you can try and take 16 away from him more often, eh?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Well, one final question for you, matey. Next week, where are we at for next week? Let's have a look here. No, that's the wrong set of notes. Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. How do you feel heading into next week's race?
I'm not really the biggest fan of Bahrain, if I'm quite completely honest. I don't necessarily like it as a track. It's good for like in real life and that, and even for F2. But for my just for my driving standards, I wouldn't say it's my best track in the world. But I think as the week goes on and I just slowly improve on it, I should be all right. But again, we haven't raced there, I think, since season 5.
6.
6, that's right. So yeah, it's been a little bit, but no, shit, it should be alright. I'll give it my all again.
Alrighty then. Well, best of luck then for next week's race, but for now, congratulations on your P3 finish here at Hungaroring, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Lane and KD, for commentary, and congrats to Smithy and Pato, P1 and P2.
Speaking of those two, Pato, congrats on the P2 finish, man. I mean, that strat, pull it off perfectly. And considering that train that we saw for the majority of the beginning of the race, Pato got the strategy absolutely spot on. So, yeah, congrats on the P2 finish. Made it absolutely work. Did everything you needed to do to hold on to second, so congrats to you. And of course, congrats to our race winner as well, Smithy. I mean, there's not much to be said. Smithy, you did all the talking out on the racetrack today, mate. Led every lap, put together a fine display. Utilised the medium tyres early. I think that was the really important key in that entire race, is the fact that you had A, track position, and B, you had softer tyres compared to everyone. And you were able to build a margin, pull away, and you even kept building that margin even after you pitted onto the hard compound tyre. So no, superb performance all round. And Smithy well and truly deserves this race win here at the Hungaroring. But I think everything's said and done. It's now time for us to wrap everything up. KD, thank you very much for joining me again, man.
Of course.
It's very nice to have you alongside me. Made this race a bit more enjoyable. So.
No problem. Anytime. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
No, we can now look forward to next week. But now it's time to wrap everything up. I've been Lane Everingham. My co-commentator, as always, is KD1997. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching, and we'll see you next week for round 6 of the championship at Bahrain International Circuit for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Until then, it's goodbye.